Hey guys, Asher coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Today we're going to have a champion guide on Genzin, Spirit Affinity, Shadowkin, Debuffer, and just absolute monster of a champion. Just ask YST. Sneaky Owl shout out here. I'm going to try to go through these shout outs a little bit faster. Sneaky Owl, Sneaky Owl, Sneaky Owl, Sneaky Owl. Sneaky Owl, are you YST in incognito here, man? Because my man has been asking. Whoa, we got another guy here. Gamer Kings wants a Genzin, a Manaya, and a Lugan in there as well. And then, yeah, again, it's a lot of Sneaky Owl. Sneaky Owl is going to be very, very happy today because we got him, man. We got him. We got him, Sneaky Owl. Don't you worry about it, man. I just want to see if there's any other people I can shout out here, but it looks like it's all Sneaky Owl. Oh, Dev. Wanted you to go over Genzin, pretty generic nuker that has a lot of turn meter fill. I want to know your thoughts on him in Relentless sets, getting a lots of turns over and over again. I think Genzin is an awesome champion to consider with a Relentless set. But the thing is with every champion, when it comes to Relentless gear, is you only have so much of it. Even people who have been playing for a long time. And Relentless, I like to have on every single one of my Clan Boss champions. I don't particularly use Genzin personally in Hydra Clan Boss. So already out the gate, I'm going to prioritize those Hydra champions. I use actually Michinaki, who's another Shadowkin legendary champion in Hydra Clan Boss. So I have him in Relentless, for example. But either way, I say that to say that, yeah, absolutely, Relentless is really cool on this champion. We'll talk more about the gear sets and how I have him built in just a moment. But first, let's get to his kit. Flowing Cuts. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit fills his champion's turn meter by 6%. So we're already talking 18% turn meter fill just on the A1, and it's a triple hitter. We love that. Great for Fire Knight, right? On the A2, Steel Parting. It's an AoE attack, has a 100% chance of placing a decreased defense. Each critical hit fills this champion's turn meter by 10%. So if we're attacking 5 mobs here, 100% crit rate, no weak hits. We're getting a 50% turn meter fill on a 3-turn cooldown again. And remember, we have the 18% on the A1. Then on the A3, Faded Vengeance. Attacks one enemy, ignoring Unkillable and Shield. Really nice against Leos, against Swift Parry, against Skullcrowns in the arena. Fills the champion's turn meter by 30%. 60% instead if the target has 50% or less after the attack. Also decreases the cooldown of Steel Parting and Faded Vengeance's very ability by 1 turn if the skill kills an enemy. Wow, that's a really, really good kit. Another turn meter fill of 30 or 60%, and then increases the champion's speed by 10 and resistance by 50 if the number of champions on this champion's team is equal to or lower than the number of enemies on the enemy team. And this effect always works when fighting bosses. That's really handy as well. It's a sneaky good passive. Happens, you know, obviously almost all the time in PvE when we're going against 5 mobs. And again, it has to be equal to or lower than. So really, really cool that it has the equal in there. So really awesome kit overall. Really cool champion. Debuffer, turn meter fill, takes 1,000,000 turns. Let's take a quick look at his multipliers thanks to hellhades.com here. They have a 1.3 godlike damage rating on his A1. That's a 1.3 times 3 attacks, okay? On the A2, it's a 3.8, pretty dang strong multiplier here. And then on the A3, we have a 5.5 strong damage multiplier. So this dude is actually a nuker and a debuffer who takes a ton of turns, right? He's got a nice base 100 speed for a a nuker, and then 1553 on the attack. Very good, kind of a hybrid, kind of like a Robar or an Abyss, in the extent where they can deal a lot of damage and they can bring that decreased defense on the AoE, okay? Kind of like the Spirit and Affinity version. Doesn't hit quite as hard as those two. However, what he makes up for that, or what he lacks, excuse me, in just raw damage, he makes up for in all the turns that this dude can take. So let me show you how I have him built, guys. A very generic build, I would say, on this champion that I'm going to show you guys, or this build, excuse me, that I'm going to show you guys today, right? We're going to do the Masteries together on this champion. And he's one of these champions too, guys, that, you know, I would love your feedback on this, honestly. Do you want this? I don't mind taking these videos long here on the channel because I like just messing around with champions. But at the same time, I notice that whenever I do a long video, in other words, I could show you Genzin in every dungeon. He's doing the same thing, taking a lot of turns, doing some decent damage and debuffing, right? But I could show you him everywhere if you wanted to, you know, Doom Tower bosses, everything. Or as in today's video, I'm just going to show you like one area. I'll just like run him in Faction Wars, because once you see him in action, I think you probably have a pretty good idea. You can see his damage compared to the other damage dealers on the team, etc., etc. But I would love your feedback. The reason I ask is because when I go really long, like I did an RTAC video that was like an hour on this channel, and plenty of others too, I feel like that viewer retention really drops off. I feel like a lot of you guys come here just for like the masteries and the build, and that's it, you know? Anyway, is there lore? No, there's no lore on this champion. I'm sure a lot of people tune out for the lore as well, but not all of you, and that's all that really matters, right? So anyway, Genzin, guys, I have him 2-star ascended here. I have him +1 empowered as well. You can see the sets aren't showing up, but I chose kind of a blend, right? I feel like cruel sets aren't used that much on YouTube, and I don't know why. I mean, it's one of the most accessible artifact sets out there inside the entire game, because it's dropped in Demon Lord, and you should always be using your Demon Lord keys every single day. I know there's a lot to do in this game, but prioritize that in Faction Wars, because glyphs and then shards and skill tomes and all that stuff that you can get in Cruel and Immortal Gear, both really, really good, can drop from Demon Lord. So again, Cruel, it gives me attack, and it gives me ignore 5% of defense. It's only 5% here, but hey, with 384 in the accuracy without masteries, I could definitely stand to swap out another perception for another Cruel set as well. But I love Cruel. I like the ignore 5% of defense on just a 2 set, right? Really strong. But perception works really well in this champion as well, because we want him fast, and we want him with a lot of accuracy. In terms of stat priorities on this champion, it's obvious, right? We want to get, I was like, 95 crit rate, what are we doing here? We don't have the masteries yet. Well, it'll be 100, trust me. So obviously we want to prioritize speed and accuracy. I would say accuracy and speed. And then I would say crit rate, some damage, but also he has to stay alive, right? So we're threading that needle between survivability and damage output on this champion. So let's go ahead and, well, I'll show the blessing really quickly here. Temporal Chains. You know, a lot of people, I would feel, probably just go with, like, Soul Reap on this champion, right? He does have that AoE, so he could be your Brimstone champion as well. You know, you could, actually, there's a few different options here. You could go with Crushing Rend on this champion, or you could go with Cruelty. So those would be my options. But I like adding a little bit of control on at least one of my champions on the team. That's why I try to have one champion, if I can, on all my better teams with Temporal Chains. So I'm getting a little bit of HP here. I'm getting a chance at HP. Getting a little defense here, and then I'm getting decreased enemy speed by 2% for each active buff they're under, up to 6%. Can definitely be valuable. This is a really good blessing, Temporal Chains, guys. Again, it's good, and it kind of fits a lot of different champions, right? If you're not sure what to pick, go with at least one champion on Temporal Chains. Kind of the same thing with Intimidating Presence in this game, right? So there's a lot of different options there. If you want to just go all nuker again, I'd probably just go with Soul Reap on this champion, right? And that will give him some attack, and the Grim Reaper will come out and help you kill whoever you don't finish off himself. Let's go ahead and pick out these masteries, guys. So I'm gonna go with like a general hybrid PvP and PvE build on this champion today, okay? Now, with the stats that I have, I don't think we necessarily need a ton of accuracy, but I'm still going to pick it up because I feel like Charge Focus, Swarm Smiter, and Pinpoint Accuracy are almost a given on this champion. Now, he is bringing 1 debuff, so you could go with Arcane Celerity, but 1 debuff for me, I'm going to save it. I'm going to allocate that to the offensive tree instead. I'm going to go with Lore of Steel. That will obviously benefit all 3 of our artifact sets, and then Master Hexer. Of course, we want to extend the duration of that decreased defense. So that's going to be our support tree. Pretty basic stuff there. Again, there's no reason to pick up Sniper Mastery on this champion, so we don't have to go with another tier 5 on the support tree. Of course, I guess if you wanted to, you could go with Spirit Haste. But on the offensive, there's a lot to gain here. So I'm actually going to go with Keen Strike, get that crit damage as well. And then we kind of have an option here, right? We can go with more PvE along the left-hand side, or we can go with more PvP around the right-hand side. Personally, I'm going to build him in a PvE build here, so I'm going to heal by 5% of the damage inflicted when attacking with 50% HP or less. I'm going to go with Heart of Glory. I'm going to go with Single Out. I'm going to go with Bring It Down. I'm going to go down the left hands, or I'm going to go with Kill Streak, excuse me, and then I'm going to go with Giant Slayer as well as Methodical. So that's how we're going to round out the masteries here, and you know what? We'll go with Cycle of Violence as well. So this is the build that I prefer for kind of a general. You can use this obviously in the arena as well, but with a triple hitter, Giant Slayer is a great tier 6 mastery to go with. Now, if you just want him to be your arena nuker and that's it, arena nuker / debuffer, and I would prefer building him as more of a debuffer, you could go with either Helm Smasher to have a chance of ignoring more enemy defense, or if you just want to stack up as much accuracy as humanly possible, you could go with Eagle Eye on this champion. Personally, for the arena, if I was only using him, I would go with Helm Smasher there. So those are the builds, guys. Let me just show you the artifacts really quickly here. We have accuracy on the banner. We have defense on the amulet. Ash, what are you doing there, man? Did I get a double roll? No, a single roll of crit damage. You know, defense is great to have on champions, but we want them to be doing a little bit more damage here. So let's go ahead and see if we can't find some, yeah, we can get some crit damage with some accuracy instead. So this is the new, I would go crit damage on the amulet on this champion. There's a lot of damage to be had here because he's taking so many dang turns. So we want to take advantage of that. We have attack on the ring as well. We have speed on the boots. We have attack percentage on the chest. I just want to point out here though, guys, there's nothing wrong at all with going HP percentage. His HP at 17.5k is not bad for a debuff or attack-based champion. And we want crit damage on the gauntlets. Again, I just want to reiterate, if you can't get the crit rate on substats on the rest of your artifacts, the rest of your gear, or if you're early game, there's nothing wrong with going crit rate on the gauntlets, right? And just getting 100% crit rate, but not min-maxing the crit damage on this champion. So there you have it, guys. We talked about artifact sets. We talked about priorities. If you wanted to, like that commenter mentioned, guys, you can put them in Relentless, and this dude just going to be absolutely a machine, taking so many turns basically all the time between all that turn meter fill. So I have him here with Burengiri, Genbo, Hatatsu, and Mishinaki on the squad. Let's go ahead and do a quick faction war run. He's on the left-hand side here, guys, so let me, actually, he's not on the left-hand side. That's Genbo, man. Where are you, Genzin? There you go. He's on the right-hand side. So you can see he's already taking quite a few turns here, right? Now, we ideally have him going first. Wasn't exactly the case because we want to set the table. We want to have him fastest on the team, especially in the arena. You guys are probably already aware of this, but just in case, again, there's some new players out there, you want to have your debuffer always going ahead of your nukers, so you want to have him faster. The speed threshold is having him faster than your nukers, obviously, right? You can have speed boosters and stuff like that going ahead of him. That's totally fine. But either way, we're going to be A-okay here. He goes in there. You guys can see the damage he's putting out. Man, we're just bleeding through the red boss here thus far. I don't want to speak too soon. I like Burengiri too. Do you guys want to see a guide on him? We can do some fun stuff with Bommel in areas like that with Burengiri. So there he goes in. That's a triple hitter plus a Giant Slayer on this A1. We get strengthened on everybody right now. That's a Steel Parting, his A2 ability. We get that decreased speed. Moreover, look at his, or excuse me, the decreased defense. Moreover, look at his turn meter, guys. I mean, obviously, every time he takes a turn, look at that turn meter. You guys just see that? It like goes up 30 to 60 to more percent, you know? It's really, really nice. Takes a lot of turns. Let's see what he did in the way of damage here. So he did, look at this, guys. He out-damaged Mishinaki and Genbo. That's insane, man. That's insane. And they're both built out to be like uber nukers in Relentless on Mishinaki and Savage Gear in Genbo. Guys, really good champion. If you want to see more on Genzin, go ahead and check out YST. He wears the freaking Genzin mask on his videos. I'll have his channel linked for you guys in the show notes below. Keep the champion requests coming, guys. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.